Hey everybody, welcome to Obscurities in Miniatures. It's Friday, which means I bring to you yet another obscurity in literature. Today we're going to take a look at Substrata, which maybe you're familiar with, maybe you aren't, but it was a very cool concept when I first heard about it, forgot about it. I think it went out of print, then it got in print again, and then I got a copy, and it seems like it comes and goes. So I will find a link to Amazon. You'd think I would check that ahead of time, but I don't. I just pull books off the shelf and I'm like, ooh, I haven't looked at that in a while. That's basically how it goes. So anyway, Substrata here was basically like an open-ended concept that a lot of the people that were working at Vigil originally, the guys and gals that did the Darksiders games, the original ones at least, they had this idea of what if they could make a game of any dark fantasy type genre, and basically there was a real quick brief given and then the title Substrata. And other than that, they were just given complete free creative reign, and this is a culmination of a lot of their work. So first off, this is from, I'm going to say it's Udon's. It feels like, yeah, it's an Udon book. Okay. I love the stuff that Udon's put out, but I've had some major issues with the bindings of their books. So I don't know if things have improved. I'm always like super hesitant to really crack these open. It's just, I don't know, it comes with the style of book. So here's a list of all the artists that were involved, and then you can see it just goes page after page. And basically the way the book worked is that every artist is just given a page or two to come up with whatever they saw fit, whatever was, fitting into the design dose of this imaginary made-up game. And the other cool thing is that just about every single artist involved here also has links to check out their other works. So I don't know if any of those are still active. I have not followed up on every one of these, as there's like, over 200 pages of this stuff. So there's a whole lot of artists to follow up on, but it's just neat to see just when artists are given free reign, what kind of stuff they come up with. I absolutely could have seen stuff like this ending up in various games, and it does certainly fit into a style that I would enjoy if there was such a thing out there as a High Lord Tamberlane style. And you get the whole gamut of artistic influences. You get, renders, sculpts, background artists, items, group shots, locations, various weirdness, which I am always a fan of. And I don't know. To me, I like the fact that it's just like the artist's unfettered. Just doing whatever they feel like. Quite a bit of plant-based people. Dig the angelic weird golem designs. Some of these works look somewhat familiar. Some of the names sound somewhat familiar. See, you've got all kinds of various locales, local flora and fauna. And I think for the aspiring artists and sculptors out there, I think looking through books like this really is a treat, just to get the kind of creative juices bubbling. So can you hear that sound? I don't know if you guys can hear it on your end, but I can hear the sound of the binding struggling against me. It would be interesting to see if any of this stuff actually ended up going from concepts in this book into actual published materials somewhere. It's possible. It's absolutely possible. Got a bit of steampunk stuff in here. As I was saying, there are a few sculpt renders in here. Did we see those yet? I'm just flipping pages. mean, it's on par with like their Darksiders books. If you guys ever get a chance, maybe I should do a video on some of those Darksider books. Those are also, even if you're not a fan of the games, they were quite interesting to flip through just in terms of art samples. World map. I like those. I'm a sucker for dragon people. I'm also a sucker for ink drawings. Reminds me a lot of some of the other design work books I've got laying around, stuff like Monster Hunter, Dark Souls, ZX Tool Wannabe. A lot of bugs. Can't stand bugs, except when they're in tabletop form. So we don't want to spoil everything. Give you guys something to look forward to. It's a very vigil looking piece. That's just cool. Interesting goblinoid things. Very Joe Mad looking style there. I've always dug Joe Mad's art. I was blown away years ago. I remember reading a interview in Wizard magazine when that was still a thing. He was name dropping Kazuichi Hagiwara's Bastard manga. I felt like I was one of the only people in the US that seemed to be aware of it. I was like, I know that, I've got that on my shelf. I thought that was cool. So definitely some interesting stuff if you are in the need for some visual inspiration. Here's the design brief. Hero, character and variants, zones, enemies, bosses, NPCs, weapons, mounts, vehicles, items or unlockables, DLC, world map, title screen, load screen, storyboards, icons, heads-up display, Easter eggs, or the Substrata logo. And the crowning achievement is this dude right here. I'm submitting my illustration, A Traveling Slug, for your Substrata book. I'm 12 and do not have a website. Congratulations, Sebastian. That's pretty awesome. I wish my traveling slug-like monster illustrations had ended up in a book like this when I was a kid. Sadly, that never happened, but I never had an opportunity like this. So I guess this is originally in 2003. Is this the first printing? I don't even know. So, something interesting if you like these types of books, if you like these design work type tomes. My only disappointment is the fact that it's not in hardcover. Most of the Udon art books I have are hardcovers. It would have been nice to have it in hardcover just to match the rest of the shelf. And the binding. The binding's always a concern with these books. But I do try to treat them nice. Hopefully it'll be around for a bit longer. But I know my son loves digging through this and just checking it out. Because there's just always something in a book like this that you seem to discover upon further views. So, like I said, I'll put a link down below. Hopefully, if you guys are interested, you're able to find it. And hopefully, we'll see some more like this in the near future. With that said, this has been High Lord Tamberlane with Obscurities and Miniatures. Saying thanks for watching, and we will see you back here soon. Bye-bye.